Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Welcome, and welcome back as the case may be. I want to start today with just a bit of an update. Many of you, maybe all of you, are aware that Percy Sabanda, a student and friend of ours, was in an accident over the weekend and is at Children's Hospital in Boston. He is on his way to recovery and will be back with us perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, and eager to be here and eager to be, I think, in the care of his school. So if you've been wondering about him, please know that he's in excellent hands and he's on his way to us, and that's good news. It is incredibly exciting to be with all of you today, incredibly exciting to begin and to start and to feel what we all feel. There are well over 100 of us here in the chapel this morning for the first time as students or faculty members. Well over 300 of us are returning for something that ranges between a second year and a 40th year at Brooks. I could ask you to guess who that 40th year person is, but he's sitting next to me right up here in front of the chapel, if you're wondering. It would be impossible to adequately capture all of the excitement and all of the enthusiasm and all of the hope that is so readily apparent and present in this exquisite Ashburn chapel with all of you looking perfect today. This is the most quintessential Brooks School building of all, in my opinion, and time that we spend in here will matter to us while we're here, and it will matter to us well after we're here. So let it suffice to say that my excitement about the possibility and opportunity that we have together in this 91st Brooks School year has no boundary. We also know that the time we have together between now and the end of the day on Saturday, June 2nd, 2018, will go quickly. At that point, the amazing, tremendous, fabulous, and wildly talented class of 2018 will have their diplomas in hand. That's your cue, class of 2018. Final exams for the rest of us will be complete, and the last standardized test of the day will have been taken. A new summer will be upon us. As I contemplate that day, I think a lot about how we will feel heading into next summer. What will we have achieved and accomplished by then as a school, as faculty members, as students? What goals will have been met? What will remain in front of us? Between now and then, I know that an enormous amount of hard work will take place in and out of the classroom. I know that individually and collectively we will meet and overcome challenges that each of us and all of us may not currently imagine are within reach. I know that we will inspire one another through harder times and in moments full of fun and laughter that we are certain to share. I'm confident that as the sun sets on June 2nd, 2018, I will feel that we have just finished a great year. A good part of what has me confident about that feeling I believe we'll have in early June centers on how I know we will go and begin the year together as a community of people and perspectives and lived experience and gifts and talents and passions that add to and enrich one another's lives. We learn from one another and become better leaders and citizens by drawing from the richness of our community, and by being open to and appreciative of experiences that have been different than ours, by being empathic, and more importantly, by acting on the deeper understanding of others we come to possess, with our sights set on being a more and more inclusive school over time. A good part of what has me confident that this will be a great year is that community matters to our school. To be honest, this has always felt very straightforward to me. Of course community does and should matter. Of course communities that celebrate difference and seek ways to be increasingly inclusive over time have it right. Of course, communities that aspire to make certain that each and every one of its members has access to being his or her whole and best self are aiming in the right direction. We are adrift in our lives if we are not part of communities. We are limited in our capacity to learn and grow if the communities we are a part of do not include perspectives and experiences different than our own, and are not seeking always to expand upon that range of perspective. We are limited in our capacity to learn and grow if we choose to tune out or exclude thoughtful perspectives and life experiences that are not in line with our own. It is hard to achieve what I cherish about community. We stumble along the way. We do not always warm up quickly or perhaps at all to perspective that challenges our own. I do know, however, that committing ourselves to being in a mode that never stops, pursuing deeper understanding of others with an open heart and a deeper appreciation for the human condition is essential if we are to be the kind of community we have been at our best and I want us to be moving forward. There's nothing that makes me feel better about our school than moments in our year when it is overwhelmingly evident that we care deeply for one another. There's no feeling quite like that. I should emphasize that I know all of us begin today thinking a lot about what is on our immediate plate, and that is as it should be. We all want to do well. And in order to do so, our classes and teams and clubs and dormitories and scripted life at Brooks requires a lot of attention. To pour ourselves into that work is right and important. As we do that, however, it is important to me that we all know that this school belongs to all of us and that we all belong to it. We are all in different stages of finding our way to the profound sense of belonging that I hope we all come to feel. And I know that getting there is not as easy as my declaring it so. Yet to begin the year mindful of our need to pursue this goal together as we dive into the work that lies ahead is incredibly important. There is a place here for all of us, and all of us play a part in ensuring that is the case. As excited as I am to be beginning the year with all of you and with doing well at community and belonging prominent in my mind, I also begin this year feeling out of step with some of what has troubled me over the past few months. There's been too much in circulation that seems at odds with seeking a deeper understanding of others, or a deeper appreciation for the human condition, or a deeper investment in ensuring that belonging is within reach to more and more people. We return to school at a point in time when the United States has determined it should withdraw from the Paris Accords in a global attempt to confront the real and ominous challenges of climate change. We return to school today in the wake of the Charlottesville tragedy and subsequent to the president sharing remarks that have given momentum to white supremacist groups who subscribe to an ideology that hundreds of thousands of Americans and millions around the world died confronting and defeating during World War II. And just yesterday, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, known as DACA, was ended by order from the White House. This means that undocumented immigrants who were brought to the United States by their parents as young children may no longer apply for protection from deportation under this program. It may mean that the 800,000 currently protected by the program will lose that protection over time. To be clear, these decisions and developments trouble me deeply. They terrify many for reasons I fully appreciate. Yet the damage they do to notions of community and aspirations about belonging that are dear to me is perhaps the cloud in all of this that troubles me most. as we begin our year intent and determined to learn from and with one another, to welcome and embrace those who are new, to stretch in the direction of finding true belonging for more and more of us, we are confronted with examples in this country that I believe are doing the opposite. And then we find examples that inspire us. Examples of when the human spirit and goodness and care for one another carry the day. In the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, I learned that Houston is the most diverse city in the country. As such, the degree to which that entire community has rallied to the aid and support of one another has provided us a lesson that seems to fly directly in the face of those who marched in Charlottesville. Where recovery from the devastation that has decimated the Houston area is a ways off, the fact that our most diverse city has responded in the way that it has is cause for optimism and hope. For all of us returning to Brooks today, I would find it hard to believe that you've never heard the term Brooks bubble before. For those who are new, my sense is that we use that term when making reference to feelings we have about being isolated or insulated from what we imagine or think or know the real world to be beyond our campus and experience with one another. Well, I have never really subscribed to the notion that we are as isolated or insulated from what lies beyond as we sometimes lament. The charge has never been baseless and raises important questions. Over the past few months, I've been eager to get back into our Brooks bubble, if you will. Not to isolate ourselves from what may trouble us, but to foster community and belonging in such a way that leaves us inclined to carry what we learn and experience together to those larger communities we are and will be a part of moving forward. To work intentionally this year in ways that equip us to be exemplary leaders and citizens of larger communities we are a part of has always been critical, but feels extra critical to me this year. At a time when there is some reason to worry about the erosion of community and attempts to limit belonging, I think the responsibility we have to celebrate community and ensure belonging in this bubble that we all inhabit together has never been more important. This is not the first time, nor will it be the last, that I turn to President Lincoln for counsel on how to go forward. In his first inaugural address with Civil War underway, he said, and I quote, "We are not enemies but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic chords of memory will swell when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature." End quote. Before closing, I want to share a quick thought with all of you that I shared with the faculty at our final faculty meetings at the end of last year. Way back when, there was a time, if you can believe it, when Snapchat didn't exist, and I was a boys' soccer coach at Brooks. I loved it. Not so much because I loved the game, although I did, but because I loved the opportunity we had to know one another so well, to care for one another so authentically, and to build community and belonging, I dare say. I always felt that the true measure of a successful team was how the group felt about one another in the locker room before playing what was or might be the final game of the season. And for me, the goal was to be able to look around that entire room in that fleeting moment, lock eyes with others, and know, without saying anything, that there wasn't a single person in there that did not have your back. You just knew. I coached for that feeling. I certainly appreciate that achieving that feeling as a whole school by year's end is far more challenging. but it is no less important. As we head out of chapel and into the day and the week and the month and the year ahead, let us do so committed to one another, committed to helping one another be better citizens here and beyond, and committed to building community and ensuring belonging. We have an incredible opportunity to be the example that inspires rather than seeking to be inspired by others. With that end in mind and in sight for our whole school, let us begin. Here's to a great year. Thank you.